All right, you louts, welcome to this stream. And with me today is Jin. Say hello, Jin.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about VTuber trends and gimmicks and everything you see on Twitter for the most part, and why it's not the best. So I'll open up. I personally believe that engagement bait, especially when you don't engage with the people who reply, is bad. What's your stance on that, Jin?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the last month or so, I've actually the last month or two or so, I've been trying to engage a lot more on Twitter, and I definitely realize there are some people who don't simply just don't. But the people that I reply to, don't simply reply, and there are just some people that do their job and like they do reply back, but unfortunately there are some people that I've unfortunately ran into where they just don't simply reply back, and it definitely sucks, but sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you get a bad apple or a good apple.
Yeah, I understand that, because while you could hit gold and get like someone who's really cool and they reply and you're like, oh, that's sweet, the majority of the time it's just someone, holding up that sign saying looking for friends, and they're not.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of those things where I totally disagree with some of these people have been doing, and it's just not good at all.
In like, okay, and going off of that, there's some trends that kind of, honestly, personally for me, they rub me the wrong way. Where someone's like, what's a good example of this? I saw one recently where someone posted and they were like, okay, it was what was it? Sorry, there's so many, they just scrambled my brain.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
No, it was oh, it's the one where it was like it was in response to the, what was the drama, the Joe Cat, and
Yeah,
the
I saw
VTubers were
that.
like,
Yes.
let's show ourselves. I'm like, you're just gonna show yourselves just because of that?
Yeah, that type of trending, I do have different opinions about it, and it's just, do whatever you want, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, VTubing, like the way I see VTubing, it's all about privacy, and that's why I transitioned myself 4 years ago to being a VTuber, is because of that privacy. Not
Yeah.
only privacy, but just the uniqueness of what other what other VTuber creators are like, presenting themselves in terms of like their own character form. That's what I like about VTubing. But if you're just gonna be just like 90% of yourself, you're gonna be showing your face all the time. What's the point of being a VTuber if you're not
Yeah.
gonna be if you're gonna be mainly showing your face? That doesn't help
At
yourself.
that point, you're just a flush tuber that happens to use a model sometimes. And like, one thing I know why you preferred to switch to VTubers, because like this one person who I watched said they love editing, they love writing the script, they love recording, they just hate being in front of the camera.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't mind being myself in front of the camera. I have shown my face on special occasions. Like I've said it to another creator that I do show my face on special occasions, like on my birthday, on my whenever I go to cons and such.
Oh, yeah,
I
obviously.
always do that, but but other than that, I don't. 90% of my time, I'm a VTuber.
Yeah,
Or 95% of my time. Yeah, go ahead.
I showed my face once before I got big. I was pretty small, and I was like, "Yo, face
Mhm.
reveal," because I was growing as a creator, and I'm like, maybe this will get me attention. Fortunately, no one
Yeah.
saw it, and then I deleted it afterwards. But
Yeah, it's definitely hard because there's so many people who do quote retweets and all this other stuff, and there's so many people that hop on the trend that it's like if you don't hop on the trend within like a second or so, you're not gonna get recognized, or even like after the trend, you're not really gonna be, and you try to do the trend,
Yeah.
you're not really going to be recognized at that point. So it's like, what's the point of doing all these trends if a popular
Yeah.
creator does it, but if you do it
Yeah.
and if you don't get eyes on you, what's the point then?
And I saw what was it? What I think Mizu posted a tweet earlier, and it made a lot of sense in my mind, where you have to track people who like the kind of tweets content you put out and not other VTubers, because those people will always like your posts and boost you in the algorithm. And I can't get mad at other VTubers for not liking my stuff because I rarely like theirs half the time. So
Yeah, that's understandable.
So it's not like an insult. It's just that the VTubers have their own stuff to worry about, so they can't be constantly uplifting other VTubers because they got to uplift themselves.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I try to work on as well, is to try to uplift myself, even though I try to, try to be
Yeah,
engaging with others. It's definitely hard because you got in real life stuff going on, and then you got to worry about your own content as well. It's definitely hard to do all that engagement and such.
definitely. And and it's not like you can still uplift people. Like, as I always say, pay it forward. And it's there's nothing wrong with just supporting someone, saying, hey, I'm gonna help you out here, and like I do my daily VTuber shoutouts. I think that's the extent of what I do usually, but I think that's a lot.
Can you repeat that? My brain kind of fizzled out a little bit.
Oh, well, I just said it's not wrong to pay it forward sometimes, and I do my daily VTuber shoutouts, but that's about the extent of it.
Yeah, and like doing VTuber shoutouts will get you eyes on you at times, because it does show that you are supporting other creators as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I am definitely thinking about doing that at some point, but it's just, there's a lot. I have to work on my debut first. So that's
obviously that
yeah,
because you're like, I don't want to. Okay, that's another thing that I assume it stresses you out a bit, because there's a negative reputation around pre-debut in your username. So you're like, I gotta get debuted.
Yeah, and it's like, well, what's the point if I'm gonna be still having myself as a pre-debut VTuber?
Yeah.
And and my and I do all this engagement and such, it will make me look like a douche, because I'm just just not being. I'm doing all of this, but I'm not. It may look like I'm not putting all the work in, even though I am.
Yeah.
It's just it takes time and money.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're doing behind the scenes, and because people can't see what you're doing back there, like they're doing nothing.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it does. I understand it from some perspectives where, oh, these pre-debuts are just doing this and doing that, but not actually doing the work of trying to work on your debut and such. I understand it, but at the same time, I just don't like the fact that these people have to be a douchebag for all of that, because it just makes that person also look bad as well. Because give them the time, but don't be an ass about it. That's my golden rule. If you I understand why you think you're doing that, because there have been some pre-debut VTubers that have been, a bit of an ass. So I understand it, but at the same time, just don't do that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that at all, and so it's like, once you get debuted, you'll be fine. Oh, and hi Miyu, thanks for stopping by. But yeah, once you get debuted and established, then it's a lot less stressful.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the matter of what. Yeah, it's the matter of what after the debut, you better hope that you gotta, make the content, make your own content, and then try to be consistent what your content's about. That's one of the bigger things as well. So that is another one I'm gonna have to look at as well.
You're like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do yet.
Well, I mean, I know what I'm doing. It's the matter of what can I elevate myself into, since now you got VTubers are looking into drama and all that stuff, and I've been interested in it. But I try not to do that, since I try not to involve myself in a lot of drama, But if it's something very serious, then you know, oh, there's going to be some involvement with me when people are going to be, just not being assholes on the internet, and sometimes you just gotta a simple, just simple reply of "LOL." Why is this guy being a douchebag?
Yeah, if more people had the mentality of, oh man, that's rude, let me just keep scrolling. That'd be, or like if something happened and they're like, I'm upset, but instead of tweeting emotionally, I'm just going to step back and take a breather, things would be a lot less stressful.
Yeah, and that's what people mostly fail about. Like for me, I've had moments where I've had moments where I want to tweet about something that I feel emotionally that I want to say, but then sometimes I just type it and then just don't even bother, just because I feel like that's a way better thing than tweeting out something and then realize, oh wait, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, because sometimes if you write it out and you take a moment and reread it, you're like, oh, that's a bit harsh.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, and it's one of those things where you're gonna have to just just not. You're gonna have to like learn to not be emotional and just take a breather, settle down, and then just whatever happens, just calm down and move on.
Just gotta relax.
Yeah, yeah. Relaxing is the really good option when
when
something's happening with you emotionally. Just calm down, buddy, and just think about the good things. That's all you can think about.
There's plenty of good things, and usually my key is to close out of Twitter, and that solves all my issues.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at, Twitter is another one of those things where I like Twitter, but it can be not a good place to look at and such, since like you got all these people that are trying to rile you up and such, and then like it's just a bunch of other negative things that are going on Twitter. But sometimes it can help you to like be very mentally strong. But then there are sometimes there are those moments,
it gets you. It's like, oh.
Yeah, and some of those times where when I have people tell me, oh, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. I'm like, just calm down for a little bit. Just don't worry about it.
Relax.
Just don't do it. Just don't react to it. I like if you want my insight about this topic, then I'll give you my insight. But if not, then I would say just don't worry about it. People are going to be people saying stuff, random shit online. So you just gotta, just don't even bother.
Yeah, like the way I see it, if it's a problem you can solve by logging out, it's not that big of a problem.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, internet people are going to be internet people, and when you have internet people, when you focus on the internet people and you're not looking at yourself, like taking a breather and all this other stuff, like, or even like, if you can, talk to your parents, like whatever I do, because when something emotionally has been going on with me, I usually talk to people who are near me, like my family members and such, which mainly my dad, because they can understand your issue and or just your closest like online friends, like on your Discord. They can understand your situation, but sometimes when you rely yourself solely on Twitter and such, that's a real problem, because like you don't know those people. And you don't know those people well, and then that person backstabs you, and you're in you're in deep shit, because like you just trusted your gut on this person to vent yourself out, but then it turns out they can't. You can't trust this person because like they don't want to listen to you, and that's a problem. And that's the one thing that people just need to learn, is to just trust the people that you know personally, not some random like acquaintances that you just made and such. Like they're not gonna and they're not gonna
Yeah.
be there all the time since like they got their own lives to worry about. Like how I got my life I have to worry about, and it's you can't you can't just rely on that person to vent at. Just vent at your local therapist, your parents, and like all of that others, like and just anyone that will listen to you basically.
The way I put it is, there's a one quote that I follow. It's you don't need a certain number of friends, but a certain number of friends you can be certain of, like that. So it's better quality over quantity, I guess.
Yeah, quality is definitely way important since like even though I do want to make a lot more friends, quality is more important than having the number amounts, because like number amounts you overwhelm yourself because you just don't know who that person is, you don't know that, and then you sometimes can forget that person.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be times where that person may be an asshole, just not saying why can't you remember me and all this, and it's just like well you and yourself got way too many things to worry about. So that's why some people, and I agree with it, that you have to limit yourself on how many friends you have, because you have too many friends, then you're not gonna feel well, because like because you got this friend, and you got that friend, this and that, and it's just it's gonna be you're gonna have a breakdown. You're gonna have a mental breakdown with all that going on, because like you focus on having way too many friends and all this and that, but you're not focusing on yourself and the people who are close to you. And when you don't focus on yourself, that's not good, because whenever I focus on myself, I try to up myself into making myself feel good, because like I know that like I feel this and that, but I have made other people feel good. So it's like you gotta at least be mindful to yourself on the friends you have and
Oh yeah,
all that
certainly.
other stuff.
And that's another thing. It reminded me of this comedian bit I saw. It was kind of funny because he was like, one time I was walking in the street and this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hello," and I just go, "Nope, I know enough people."
Yeah, I don't. That's funny to say. I don't do that, but like I
Is
just
this
like
same energy?
like whenever yeah, I save that energy, and also whenever I go around and such, I usually let the person talk to me, and if the person wants to talk to me,
That's fine.
I'll let them do that, because like I'll let them do that, because like sometimes it's a good nice chat to have, since like you don't talk to a lot of people, strangers, real life, since like yes, they're strangers, but they're people to talk to, at least to keep your mind, to at least have a nice conversation, than just purely online, because sometimes just chatting online is not really a good thing, because you also got people around you that you can potentially talk to, and like just hang out and such. And I think that's a good thing, since like online stuff is one thing, but in real life it's definitely something that could be considered in terms of helping your mental health, because like not only you're getting fresh air and such, you're at least talking to people in your local area that could like whatever topics they want to bring up, like if it's something that you're interested in talking about, then you could do that. But sometimes you just but sometimes that really depends on the person as well, if they're willing to put that energy on bettering yourself, and like just having to be just at least explore in the world.
Oh yeah, definitely. For me, I I'm okay with having like an unlimited amount of acquaintances. That's fine with me because I see that as different from friends. Friends are people like that you trust, like in depth, like super trust, and like trust doesn't come easily to someone like me. And it's funny because I have one of my only real life friends. I only have two. I hadn't talked to him for 3 years, and I just hit him up, and we talk like no time has passed, and that's a true friendship right there.
Oh yeah, I had like a neighbor. Yeah, I've had classmates and such before where I actually kind of met up with. I actually kind of like even my college. Like there was the one time when I was taking a class, and then he recognized me. What and he recognized me. Like somehow I didn't recognize this person, and they were actually in my elementary school. I'm like, oh, really? That's quite interesting. And we did chat a bit here and there. And then I had some classmates from my high school that chat that are in my college as well, which is quite interesting. Which is, I'm glad to be able to talk to them again. But sometimes busy life is going to be busy, and sometimes just being able to talk to your form your your friends that you haven't been talking to a long time. It's always
Yeah,
nice to do if you have that, but it just I like personally I don't have a lot of in real life friends. I know my neighbors, but
yeah.
but whenever I run into my classmates from way back in the days, it's nice to talk to at least.
Yeah, of course, because having that ability to disconnect from online and talk to people in the flesh, a lot of people don't think it's important, but it actually is because it lets you ground yourself emotionally and mentally. And usually, and this helps in multiple ways. One, it can get you out of a toxic mindset if you're like being overwhelmed by online culture. And secondly, it can help you get a fresh perspective and go back to online and do what you have to do, be it a creative endeavor or whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, getting away. Yeah, That's the most important part is just getting away from the toxic internet culture for sure. It's definitely a. It's one thing to be staying online and then be able to have the mentality of being able to not not being able to lose your mind online and such. And then there's those other moments where you know you have to get away from internet culture and then just disconnect yourself, talk to some people, oh, and see that life is great, nothing's happening around you, and then just be able to connect you back to the internet culture once you're ready, and hope that you don't have any issues.
Yeah, because like going back to Twitter and the internet is like you said, people who don't take breaks usually either fall into one or two categories. Usually, the internet has consumed them and they are no longer mentally sane or stable, and I feel bad for them. Or they're someone so mentally sound and secure that they can battle against an army of toxic people and not even flinch. And honestly, those people are to be admired.
Oh yeah, I admire those people that do, stay on the internet and battle these toxic people that just want to be on you, and it's just like, I give so much credit to them. I'm one of those people where it's like, you know what, if you want to be a douchebag, okay, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah,
You do you. I'm just gonna stay on my own lane. End of the story. And
yeah,
but then there are, and then there are some people that do genuinely need to, you know, do need to just get away, not worry about all this stuff. Look around you at least. Get some
yeah,
fresh air. Go to the park, or drive around. Go to a store, or even like you said, at least talk to some people. Uh, at least to talk to some random strangers about just
yeah.
life and such. Like maybe they can help you, or maybe not. It just depends. So just at least have a nice chat with people who are locally around
Yeah,
you,
the
even though you may
mythical
not.
go touch grass.
Yeah, essentially, that's like for me. Like that's the reason why I don't stream all the time is because not only I have college, obviously, but also, it's nice to just not think about the internet all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, m- I mean, there are times where I feel like it's just better to just talk to the people who you're close to, or just simply just not consume yourself a lot on the internet, because I do consume myself on the internet, but not as bad where some of these people who have severe issues,
Yeah.
just not just consume themselves, believe in everything the media is saying, and you just get
And
you gotta
don't
find a way
have
to
a
disconnect yourself.
just just have a moment to go, hey, let me just enjoy the outdoors and just be a person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, be the person at least, and not be a neat or whatever. Because I
Yeah.
understand if you truly believe that you can't really interact outside. Okay, I understand that.
Yeah, of course.
But 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 at the same time, you know, life is not all about music, art, VTubing, streaming. It's not all about that.
Those are passions, and one thing that people don't realize is that for to be passionate, you got to be happy, you got to have a good mental space. Yeah, sure, some artists were not the most mentally sound. Look at Edgar Allan Poe, but or Van Gogh for example. But in most aspects, if you want that passion and that inspiration back to draw or write or stream, you're gonna have to step back and detox and recharge whatever batteries you have. Otherwise, you're gonna run dry, and that leads to creator burnout.
Yeah, and that's why whenever there's something very important going on, I have to take hiatuses because I have to deal with this thing, like whatever is like a final, even like I had a final exam week, and I had to detach myself. I had to basically stop everything because even though I still kind of interacted on Twitter and such, I had to stop do anything content creation wise because, well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna overwhelm myself in, oh, I need to stream, oh, I have to also do my final exams, which is very important, and
yeah.
doing something that is not as important.
It can get overwhelming, and what I'm gonna say is that going back to what we were saying about the trends and how people try to use them to get popular and stuff. I think that mindset, and it's a mindset I had during my first year of content creation, is a very toxic mindset. What they try to do is they try to get the numbers and try to get it as popular as quickly as possible, thinking, yeah, once I'm at that certain threshold, I'm going to be able to make it as a content creator. When in reality, what's important is that you have to make sure you have a strong foundation first.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things where throughout my this is probably my over 10 years of streaming now, and it's definitely one of those things where you gotta, and I'm still learning this, you gotta build your community. And
Yeah,
even though I mainly been on other people's communities, which I don't think that's a problem, but sometimes you definitely have to focus on your own community. And right now I'm still trying to figure out how to build it, and just being able to having it, obviously I have a Discord server, but it's not completely done. It's still
yeah,
it's still all over the place. So it's one of those things where you have to definitely focus on yourself, but just trying to build connection, and that's what everyone. And the one thing that I do think it's a good thing as well is just building connections with others.
oh yeah, definitely.
Even though you may not have your own community yet, building connections is definitely important as well. More important
Networking
as
is
well.
one of the most important parts when it comes to content creation and growing your career in general, because connections can help. And I wouldn't worry about the Discord thing. It took me almost 2 years to make it as pretty as you see it now. But Yeah. One of my weaknesses was during my first year, I did just build my YouTube channel, and I became YouTube partner. That was an achievement, but I didn't reach out to any other content creators. I was isolated, and that stagnated my growth.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely that's definitely one of those things where I think it can't. I feel like not being able to reach out after like getting like that's how it kind of felt like, just not being able to have the community and such, and like even like achieving, like for me, Twitch affiliate, I have, even though I like just being able to, just like not being able to build your own community and such, it's definitely a bad thing for sure, because like if you don't build your own community, how are people going to have your back, or how are people going to support you if you don't have a community with a full of people that will support you, or whatever the case is.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is that, and I've seen this in the VTuber sphere a lot, is that people talk about their stamina when it comes to streaming and whatnot. Because when I started, I couldn't stream more than 20 minutes. It was really difficult for me because I would get distracted or my voice would get tired. And it took a lot of practice to be able to talk for a long time. But I've learned since then is that it's not so much the length of the stream that matters, but the content. You got to make it interesting enough for people to tune in and you to enjoy talking. It could be 8 hours long, but if it's boring and you're bored and they're bored, it shouldn't have been 8 hours long.
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely 100% agree with that. I mean, for me, like like my content specifically is about gaming, which is obviously shooter games, and I love to play, Call of Duty and such.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the things I like to show, but also I like to also talk to people as well. And I do agree, if you have a long stream and it's not that entertaining, then what's the point then? I've streamed, like when I started streaming, I definitely wasn't as interesting back in the day, and not a lot of people were coming into my streams and such. I mean, this was back when I first started streaming on Twitch when I was 15. And
so this was eons ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But I have streamed on YouTube, so I did have that. I did stream on YouTube like when I was 13, 14. I mean, this was obviously I was
back
still young age,
before VTubers were even a thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've streamed enough where I can understand certain, like from the time I was streaming. This was back when I was as a hobby. This was before when.
Thanks to show for the raid.
like before even Twitch affiliate was the thing back then. I was streaming on YouTube just for fun. I mean, I thought of like doing this whole thing. I actually did like podcasts, but that was podcasts, quote unquote, back in the day. But that was back when I was in another community. But obviously, that community I was in, was whatever. Left behind. But but I did learn a lot from my younger days because, like, I was starting fresh. It was starting fresh, and it's definitely it's grown over to me. But it definitely I've had lots of challenges when it came to streaming. But even like back in the day when I was streaming with I even was streaming with friends and such, with like online people and such. But I did face some challenges back in the day. But over the time now, like I definitely getting a good understanding of what to do in terms of like the now modern days of streaming, because I was just streaming for fun. But now that this is becoming a serious thing, now that I know it's becoming a serious thing, you're gonna have to, to somewhat adapt, and that's the one thing I think. Like some VTubers that do talk about, like you gotta adapt. And I agree with that.
And adapting and becoming serious are one thing, but something that some people make the mistake of, and I can tell you haven't, is that whilst many start their career having fun and their fun is their focus, when you want to lock in, knuckle down, and become serious about content creation, the most important aspect is that you achieve a balance between fun and locking in. Because if you sacrifice the fun, you're just going to burn out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like I believe that the only way if you're having fun is if you're having fun with the game. Like if you're having fun with what you're doing, like playing your game. Like for me, playing my games and such, it's one of those things where I have fun at. Even though in my games, when like in my streams, I do get pissed off a lot.
Yeah,
I still generally do have fun because it's the game that I love to play, and it's like
there you go.
Like you like Marvel Rivals.
Oh yeah,
I love Call of Duty, and like we both love the games that we like to play. So it's one of those things where I feel like if the game you like, if the game you're playing is not enjoyable to yourself, you're not gonna have good streams.
That was a mistake I made because I would play games where they were kind of fun, but it has to be a game you love, where even if you're getting salty at lag or whatever, you still enjoy it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely. I think that's one of the things where people make the mistakes. Like the one thing, and I don't think it's a good thing for people who are starting off as streamers.
Yeah,
is playing popular games that has been overblown with other creators.
Oh yeah,
as well.
because you need this is what I recommend if you want to grow. For me, I don't really care at this point because I'm a Twitch affiliate, YouTube partner. I can just do what I want. But for people growing, they need to get a game they like or love rather, and they have to. If you use the research tab on Twitch, you can find games and their popularity. The best thing to do is find a medium-sized category where there's only like 10 channel or 15 channels, but a lot of viewers. So that way you can work up the ranks and slowly get more viewers.
Yeah, and it's hold on, my brain kind of hold on.
It's fine. Don't worry. It's not going to be a super long podcast, so.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, and I feel like when you look at the popular games, like if you want to build up your viewership and such, I think, and this is what, and I think some other creators have said it before.
Yeah.
I think it's better if you play the games that you like.
Yeah.
Whether it's not popular or not. Like I have a friend that plays like tactical shooters or whatever. Yeah. They like it and they still have viewership.
Yeah.
And like for me, whenever I play Call of Duty, I still like it, but sometimes I would like to play other shooters as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Ready or Nots or the Insurgency Sandstorms or just any other shooter that I'm passionate, or just a good old chill game that I like to play. Even though it may not be popular, it's still fun to me. So I think that's where most people make the mistake. If you play a popular game that's trending and such, but you don't like it, then you are gonna be in a hell of a trouble because you're not building yourself the viewership that you want. Yeah. You're going downwards because you're playing something that's fun and such. Don't like it, but if you still play it, but you still don't like it consistently, stream after stream, you're not building anything. You're basically putting yourself out as a rager. like those people that rage a lot, but even though they you don't want to be a
DSP.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely a hard thing to not do. It's definitely a hard thing to not do. I mean, I've raged a lot, but not to a point where all these other people have raged like so hard they break their shit. No. I never do that. I mean, okay, maybe once. For
the most part, I'm too poor to break myself.
Well, I mean, it's not. I like for me, I don't break controllers. I don't do that.
No, absolutely not.
That's like the dumbest thing you could ever do. Break your own equipment that is very expensive, like a keyboard or a mouse. Do not do that. If you're so mad, get a cardboard or something.
The most angry I've ever been, and this was not even on stream, was I stood up and I just walked over. My friend heard me screaming and punching a pillow.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like, I mean, like, and I think this is one of those things where, like, as a content creator, you have to control yourself.
Oh yeah,
At
definitely.
times. That's why I don't. That's why I try to control myself, even though I'm still pissed off.
Yeah,
I still try to control myself no matter what.
yeah.
Even though it is not. I mean, raging a lot is definitely still not the best thing to do.
Oh no,
But
no.
if you do it less often every stream, then it'll help you. But sometimes, there are times where, like me, where it gets
Yeah.
very, very, out of control when something's happening in the game. It's definitely not.
Yeah. But it can also be used for your advantage. Let's say you get frustrated, but you don't normally rage. People see you as a guy who usually enjoys the game. You're pretty chill, and while you go, oh, screw this lag, But then if you ever fully rage out, that could be just a funny meme moment,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've seen like I've seen memes about it when from gamers raging and such, and I've seen like videos of that type of stuff being memed on. And it's just
Yeah.
it's so funny. And like it's funny that I rage, but then I watch other
Yeah.
people who rage at video games, and it's so funny. But it's definitely like not. It's definitely not good
Oh no,
at the
it's
same
not.
time, because like to the individuals, because you're raging, but you're destroying your stuff.
Yeah. And
Like,
so silly.
yeah, it's so silly, but it's just like, I mean, what can you do? The body goes out of control, and like it's gonna you and like yeah, it doesn't look good, but it's funny at the times, but just sometimes not at the good times, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and it's something I find amusing, because when I get angry at games, normally I'm just a little frustrated, or I just comment. I'm like, oh, this is really stupid, or this guy's a bad team player, or like he's not healing me, that kind of stuff. But other than that, I just try to make jokes of it. I play off my rage with jokes, so I don't get super angry.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, oh yeah, like my jokes aren't like the funny ones, but it's just like, just the kind of unexpected ones, like, like you're being railed and such like that, and it's just it's like, I find it funny to
Yeah.
myself whenever I say like stuff like that, and it's just I find it funny. Some
Yeah,
people
definitely.
find it funny, but sometimes people won't find it funny. But I laugh to myself whenever I say that. It's just like, because at least I'm self-aware what's going on, and it's
Yeah.
and like whenever, and it's funny whenever I rage myself, and then I just just try to laugh it off whenever I say something that's to me funny, at least.
Yeah. And like one thing I find really interesting about gaming, especially recently now that I've started playing a game I'm really passionate about, is that chat really does reflect the streamer. So if you're genuinely having fun, chat's going to have fun too. And if you're not, they're not going to engage as often, because they're like, oh, the streamer is clearly not having fun. And that's what some people don't understand, is that chat really does reflect who you are, because they're there usually for you, not the content.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's definitely another struggle that I do believe I have, is just like, like I try to talk to my chat, but if there's no chat,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to how am I supposed to engage on the stream? Like-
Here's a practice that it took me a long time to get used to this, because it didn't make sense to me, but when you think about it, it does. Talk as if you have a chat full of 100 chatters, and that way when people click onto your stream, they'll see you talking animatedly, and they're like, oh, this is pretty engaging, and they'll start chatting.
Oh yeah, I've done that before. I mean, it's hard to do that,
Yeah.
like for 6 hours or something.
Especially
like
if you're
that.
playing an extreme game and have to focus.
Oh yeah, for sure. Whenever I try to focus, I still try to talk
Oh
to
yeah.
people no matter what. But if it's something serious, then I'll probably calm down or I'll probably focus a little bit more. But if it's not, then I'll try to talk to chat and such. Which I think that's one thing that definitely people do struggle a lot, even though it may be for people, even for some people who still trying to learn that and such.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna let the podcast run for like 5 more minutes. We don't let it go super long because it's almost late at night for me.
No problem.
But this is the first episode, and it'll get more comfortable as I invite more guests. Because so far, I think this has been a success so far. We talked about interesting things and all that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like it's been what for so long? It's been almost a decade now since I've done something like this.
Oh, really?
And yeah, well, it's a quote unquote podcast, but it's like, like just talking to everyone about this and that, about an episode of a show or something like that. But it was definitely kind of a like I was young and back in the day doing this, still trying to figure it out. But now that I know what podcasting is about, I'm definitely getting comfortable with that now.
Yeah, and one thing I think you said you have a 3D model, right? You have like a Vroid. That's what you said you had. One thing you could take advantage of is when you upgrade to full 3D, if that's ever in the cards, you could do like 3D VR chat streams.
Oh no! Oh, I've actually done that before.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a 3D model. I'm not using my new model.
Yeah.
But I am using the first model I've ever gotten. So.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not sure. I've shown my new model, but I'm not using it. I'm going to use it when I debut. That's the one thing
I should host my podcast in VR chat. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that would be definitely interesting for sure.
But one thing that I need to do, and this is just overall, I need to make a bit more effort to do collabs. I have another collab on Friday. It's a Marvel Rivals collab, but for the most part, for the longest time, I was just super awkward, and I would just not reach out to people, and they'd be my mutuals for like 6 months, and I'm like, I should probably talk to them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I talk to my mutuals whenever they're on my For You page and such, but I don't I when I let people I definitely feel like I need to work on that as well, is just trying to if they want to collab, then I'll reach out to them, but I usually am the person that they reach out to me or invite me or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like I need to do the opposite, where I reach out to them if they want to do the collab. I think that's the one thing when I do debut, I'll definitely start doing, because I feel like it's not like letting them come to me and then waiting for them to invite me and such. It's definitely not working at the moment. So
yeah, and for me, this I would have never done this a year ago. When I was like, anyone want to do a podcast? You're like, sure. I'm like, all right, here we go.
yeah, it's definitely one of those moments where it's definitely hard for sure.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to make this like a weekly thing if I can, because once my full-time job starts, it's gonna be a lot more difficult.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure. It's definitely full-time jobs is definitely going to be wrecking you. So
yeah, and that's why a lot of people try to rush content creator success, so that they can, because they read these success stories of content creators quitting their day job. I'm like, it's not that easy.
No, no. Like for me, it's like whenever I try to do my thing, it's definitely whenever I try to do content creation, people may say it's low effort and such, but I started multi-streaming on YouTube, I'm just doing simple stuff at the moment just because, well, I don't know how to do like
Yeah.
thumbnails or such. So I just try to do a simple thumbnail and all that stuff. But which now that with the whole multi-streaming going on,
Yeah.
now that I'm definitely thinking about making partnership with YouTube.
Yeah.
But that's gonna take a long time because, I don't really know how YouTube works.
I do.
Like,
if you ever
I'm
need
new to it.
advice, I can help.
Oh yeah, for sure. I will definitely probably ask some people who are
Yeah.
YouTube creators and
Yeah,
such.
because
that
I'm
do
an actual
stuff.
YouTube partner, so I can help with that. So
Yeah, yeah. So, but I'm definitely trying my best to grow on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Since now with like stuff like watch parties is exclusively on YouTube, it actually will probably help me since
Yeah.
all the stuff, some of the stuff is going to be exclusive on YouTube. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely it definitely will help me. But I mean, probably gonna need to do more than just exclusive YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
So it's which I have to do multi-stream mainly, but we'll see what happens.
Multi-streaming is like the way to go because there's no there's no exclusive contrast anymore, so there's no point to just stick to one platform.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm definitely gonna be doing that. I do plan to do YouTube as well. Oh no, sorry. Twitter as well, maybe other platforms, but
Yeah.
but
if you use Restream, that's what I'm using right now, because it combines all the chats into one. For if you want 3 platforms, it's $20 a month. So
yeah, that's not money I have every single month.
Yeah, that's why I did not do it for like a few weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like for me, I do use a different plugin that actually does do multi-platform
Yeah.
and like do multi-platform and such, and like another plugin that does multi-chat as well, but it's not working for some reason, so I have to figure that out. But I do have but the multi-stream part, it works.
Yeah.
But it uses a lot of resources.
Yeah, that's what
because I use.
Yeah.
Because I try, because I can only stream on YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah.
If I try to put in Twitch, it's probably because I'm also recording as well. That's the other.
Oh, you record, so you have the VOD.
Yeah, because like I personally like VOD. I like to record my VODs since like it's like a memory lane. So,
yeah.
Like for me, memory lane. Like me, look at my VODs.
The upside about YouTube is that the VODs stay forever.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I do still like a higher quality recording.
I get you.
That's what I do. That's why I've been doing this. I've been doing that actually for about 5-6 years now. So I
hope you have an external drive.
Oh no, I have. It doesn't take a lot of. I do have a lot of external drive, so I do have places on where I can. Like if my recording device gets full, I have an external device I can offload the footage off of. So that's why I like external devices.
Okay, with that, as our brains melt, I think that's a good time to end the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for showing up. I had a fun time with Jin here today. So thanks for coming here, Jin.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. And maybe we'll collab in the future on some game or another.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Bye-bye, chat.